Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Anubis, the gamer Archery, here with a brand new video for you guys. Last week I didn't upload an Archery video because, just wanted to take some time off and I wanted to, plan out what I want to do next. I was thinking about doing something related to like what gear I use and things like that. But today's video I want to do a little discussion. If you're only here for actual bow action, that will be present in this video. We just start things off with a little bit of mano a mano. But what I want to do today's video, I want to talk about like fiberglass bows and why I choose fiberglass bows as like a daily use bow, and why you should probably choose fiberglass as a daily use bow. Not necessarily daily; it doesn't have to be every day, but basically want to point out like why I view fiberglass bows as a very good option for archers to use for just any use of archery. Fiberglass bows are like they get like a little look down because they're usually cheaper bows, and people try to like have that thought process that the more money you spend on a bow, this is kind of like something that applies to like any facet of life, any hobbies. The more money you spend, people feel like that validates what you're using, the tool you're using, and things like that. You understand what I'm trying to say. But so fiberglass gets looked down on because it's not made of 100% wood. Sometimes it's not made of wood at all. They're always like fairly cheap, under $100 and things like that, and people kind of like have a view of fiberglass as being not something they don't want to like brand on their YouTube, or show their friends off or use in a range, things like that. It's just fiberglass. Personally, I view fiberglass as one of the better options for archery, especially if you want to practice. If you're trying to like practice with archery, let's say I have my Kajik. You've seen my Kajik videos, and let's say I want to practice doing better with my draw, as in I want to practice my long draw, because you can draw 34 inches. I draw 28 inches. Let's say I want to practice get into that 34, so I want to get 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and so on. But I don't want to use the Kajik to actually like practice that. So I get a fiberglass bow that goes 34 inches and use that to practice. Because again, fiberglass bows can be a daily usage bow. They can be a practice bow to get you ready for for things. Let's say you want to go up and draw weight. Your current bow is 45 pounds. You want to go up to 60. Well, you can get a fiberglass bow at 60 pounds and work with that. It's cheaper, and if you feel like maybe 60 was a bad idea, you didn't spend $300, $400 on a laminated or wooden bow. Laminates aren't wooden bows, but you didn't spend $400 on a wooden bow, and then realize that you don't actually want to go up to 60 pounds. So fiberglass bows are very good for that instance, where you can use them as practice bows. You can use them for figuring out how you want to go about your archery in any way. And another thing about fiberglass bows is they can be a daily use bow. Fiberglass bows are very durable. You can take them out in most climates. One of the issues a lot of laminated bows have is they're not climate friendly, especially depending on the color of them. They can delaminate at a quicker rate than normal because it's too hot outside, too humid outside, or even if it's too cold outside. So you kind of want to wait for the perfect temperature to take a laminated bow outside, and especially if you don't want to use it like 4 times in 1 week in South Carolina. Especially in like the south of South Carolina, where it's usually like just always like the lowest it'll get is like 60 degrees, and the humidity is always above 50. And you don't want to do that, so you want to have like a fiberglass bow. Fiberglass bows are since they're made of nothing but fiberglass bars, and yet that some might have like a wooden CS, but generally most of the bows fiberglass. You can take that out in the snow every day. You take it out in the heat every day. You can take it out in humid weather. They're very good and very durable bows, and they're good for just practicing with. I think most people in archery aren't practicing a lot. They just go shoot their bows. But your shoulder, your body needs to have, you got to get the reps. So we're gonna go, your body needs to have those reps. You need to get the reps in. If you don't get those reps in, then your brain starts to forget stuff. Your body starts to go with it. If someone is a weightlifter and they stop lifting weights, like they lift weights their entire like adult life, and they just stop, and then for the next 5 years they don't, their body is going to go start to change and not be able to do that process anymore, and they go back to the weightlifting. It's like, oh, I can't even lift what I used to lift, so now this is a problem. And the same thing comes to archery. If you stop shooting your bow for like a month, and then you go back, your body's gonna have to get reaccustomed to that. Gonna have to get reaccustomed to thumb draw, get reaccustomed to 3-finger, because your body, it gets used to things. And so if you don't want to like take your wooden bows out every single day, your takedown bows out every single day and things like that, You can use a fiberglass bow and take that out 3 times a week. You can use a fiberglass bow and take it out in any kind of weather that you want. You can use it as your practice bow. That's like the thing I want to point out the most is you want to use it as your practice bow. Right now, that's what I have 2 fiberglass bows. I have a Turkish fiberglass bow and I have a Ming fiberglass bow. Both these bows are different weights. My Turkish fiberglass bow, I bought that initially to train thumb draw because I didn't know how to do thumb draw. And I didn't want to go out and buy a bunch of Asiatic bows and then not even know how to do a thumb draw correctly. So I bought a Turkish fiberglass bow from Alibow. It was at the time $80, and I used that as my training bow to use thumb draw. So I got it at 30 pounds because 30 pounds is fairly simple to pull, and again, it's mostly a training bow, so it's not meant to be there for me to I'm trying to do some serious archery with this. Like, no, it's just meant to train. It can also draw to like 32 inches, so that's also something I can use to train for longer draws, which I am working on. I'm actually working on trying to train for longer draws, and I have videos for that as well when it comes to all the process and getting used to trying to pull back further with bow. So I just feel like people should just consider that. I recommend having at least one. Like, it wouldn't hurt to have at least one fiberglass bow in your collection, just so you can use it as a training bow. Use things. If you're someone who does Western archery, when it gets to Asiatic archery, you can get a Asiatic fiberglass bow to practice with and see if you like it. If you're someone who does Asiatic archery, when it gets to Western, you can get a fiberglass bow and see if you like it. But usually fiberglass bows are sold for Asiatic archery. I don't think I've seen a lot for Western style bows, but snake bows are like the most common when it comes to like recurve snake bows, long bow snake bows. Those are like the most common beginner tools that you will find at like archery ranges and shops for people to practice with and train with. So that's basically what I'm talking about in this video. Just talk about why I think fiberglass bows are a great resource to have and why you should get fiberglass bows. Again, they're usually pretty cheap. Fiberglass they're also fun. Like, I feel like fiberglass are very fun. I know there's this guy, he's a fairly sizable YouTube channel, Historian Archery, I think it's what it's called, but he loves fiberglass bows. His preferred bows to use as well. It's not my preferred use in terms of like the actual bows themselves. I love my wooden bows, but in terms of like regular usage, I prefer to use the fiberglass bows because they're more durable. I don't want to like put any of my other Ajax bows into like an earlier grade, because eventually bows break. And the more and more you use them, the clock starts essentially. Fiberglass bows last longer, and you can keep those other bows like the Gashik and my Hankyu. You can keep those bows lasting longer, by having fiberglass bows that you use in the meantime. But with all that said, this video, thank you for watching. I'll be your boy, Newest the Gamer Archer. Y'all have a good weekend. Y'all be safe. Be on to another. Catch you guys on the next one. I'm out. Deuces.